Hey everybody, welcome to the Elder of Rock. I am Stephen Elder, and today we're going to talk about Operation Mindcrime, the great Queensrÿche album that came out May 3rd, 1988, which makes it 37 years old. Yes, and I remember it like it was 37 years ago. Anyway, so yeah, Operation Mindcrime. Now, the idea for this album, and I had a physical copy. I don't know, I could swear I had a physical copy. I don't know. I don't can't find the CD. I don't know where the album is. Hopefully they're just misplaced, and I don't know. I don't know why I don't lend my stuff out. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. So the idea for this album came about when Geoff Tate was living in Montreal, Canada. There he became friendly with some members of a militant Quebec separatist movement, some of whom casually talked about bombings and political violence. Jeff, who were you hanging out with, man? I mean, really cheery bunch there. Anyway, but that I guess was an unsettling experience, and it combined with some memories of friends of his who were destroyed by drugs, inspired the story, which is at its core addiction, manipulation, and revolution. But he had to sell it to the rest of the band, I guess, and so I guess the first person he went to was Michael Wilton. I'm not sorry. I guess the first person he went to was Chris DeGarmo, and when he got on board with it, it seemed like that the rest of the band fell behind and got enthusiastic about it as well. So the album itself is a story. It's a kind of it's like was known as a rock opera or something like that. But it's a story of Nicky. He's a disillusioned young man who is he's a disillusioned young man lost in a corrupted, decaying world. He gets caught up in a revolutionary movement led by the mysterious Dr. X, who uses heroin and brainwashing to turn Nicky into a political assassin. And it kind of falls apart when Nicky falls in love with Sister Mary, who was a former prostitute turned nun. And Dr. X orders Nicky to kill her. And it kind of unravels from there. And Mary ends up dead. Nikki spirals into a guilt, confusion, and madness and winds up in a mental hospital, unsure of what's real. Musically, this album is, really tight and theatrical and progressive. The band itself got Geoff Tate on vocals, Michael Wilton and Chris DeGarmo on guitars, and they all contribute backing vocals, I think. Um, Eddie Jackson on bass, and Scott Rockenfeld on drums. And Geoff Tate does really good with on this album. He doesn't just sing it; he's kind of acting, with it. He's using his voice to channel Nicky's anger and heartbreak and his vulnerability. And like I said, the twin guitars of Chris DeGarmo and Michael Wilton also help drive the story forward. So, standout tracks for me on this album are "Revolution Calling," which opens the album really well. It's actually like it's like a what's the Anarchy X little instrumental, and then it goes into Revolution Calling. I really like the way it opened. I really like The Needle Lies and Speak. Those are really cool songs that I think are really cool. And but I really like which one I think is a really standout track though on this album is Sweet Sister Mary. Um, really cool. It starts off with a little narration about what's going on. How Dr. X getting Nikki to kill Mary, and then it's got some just like choirs in it and everything. And then there's a duet with Pamela Moore. She guests as uh, Mary, Sister Mary, whatever. And it's really cool. So it's just really cool. Good centerpiece of the album. It opened side two for those of you that do albums. So it's so it's like at the center of it, and really good. And so I guess yeah, and then and it, and this album though was a critical success for them. They Queensryche's been a band that always likes they change from album to album. Their EP was like a nice power metal, uh, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest type of thing, and then The Warning was like this progressive, kind of Pink Floydish maybe. And then they do Rage for Order, which was like just wild. I don't know. I don't know if I can describe it, but little. I don't know, just a really different album. So they were switching from album to album, and so when they came out with this, this is again different from what they did before, and and so that made it a critical success, and it became a cult classic. Now, they did release. Can't remember when it came out. 2006. Uh, they did release in 2006 a sequel to this, Mindcrime 2. Most people don't think it's a good sequel. Does nothing really to add to the original. And then also Geoff Tate is, I guess, working on Mindcrime 3. I don't know if 2 wasn't successful. I don't know how he's going to do 3, but and it's also kind of weird. Even though I know this was mostly his thing, it's just weird him doing it without Queensrÿche. You would hope that maybe he at least get maybe Chris DeGarmo to write some of it. Maybe he is. That would be a nice surprise, but you never know. And then Geoff Tate has also gone on to perform it live quite a few times in its entirety. Queensrÿche doesn't, and I don't know if I want him to because, like I said, this is Geoff Tate's thing. It might be weird for them to do dedicate a majority of a concert to this album, just because it was such Geoff Tate's thing. I know Geoff Tate wrote a lot of this stuff before, and they do a lot of that stuff, and maybe that's another reason. So, and they do some songs from it, but I just don't see them ever doing this in its entirety. I know Todd Latour, who replaced Geoff Tate, would do a good job, but I just, like I said, I don't see that happening. But they both seem to be doing well on their own, so it's cool. Now, the other thing about this album is that even though I don't have my physical copy of the album, I do have this right here. This is the VHS for what is this called? Video Crime, and this is like a video for every song. This is a video for every song on the album. So it's like a video album, something that not too many bands did back in the day. They mostly would release a home video with a few songs on it and some live footage and some silly backstage shenanigans or something. But this is really cool. So this is cool. See the VHS. Ooh, look at that. What is this technology? What is this strange technology? Well, and I actually have a VHS player to play it in, and I should play this again because which is true with like why a lot of people like vinyl. Some of my music VHS tapes, they sound really nice and warm compared to like a maybe if it was a DVD or something. But and then after this album, they did go on a tour as guests of Metallica. Metallica's and Justice for All tour, and Queensrÿche was opening, and they would. Did they do this whole album? I guess maybe they did the whole album. I saw this tour, and I don't know if they did the whole album. They did quite a bit off of it. Obviously, I think they may have reserved that to when they were headlining their own tour, which they did shortly thereafter. And they've been quite a successful headlining band since then. Of course, Geoff Tate's out on his own, and Queensrÿche got Todd Latour in I think around 2013 or something like that. Maybe maybe before that. And he's worked out fine, and they both seem happy. And Queensrÿche and Geoff Tate settled it, and Scott Rockenfeld's just acting a little weird now. But anyway, so there you go. Queensrÿche Operation Mindcrime. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did you see this tour at all? What's your favorite songs? And have you seen Geoff Tate do this on his own as well? And so there you go. So thank you for watching The Elder of Rock. See you next time. The Elder of Rock.